it's Jack with the Teenage Techie, and you're watching my full review of the HTC One X, HTC's latest and greatest. As far as hardware is concerned, the One X is the best of the best. On the inside, it has either a quad-core Tegra 3 or a dual-core Snapdragon S4, depending on if you live in the US, Canada, or elsewhere. The Snapdragon S4 version has LTE support, whereas the international version does not. Both versions have 1 GB of RAM and an 8 megapixel camera with an LED flash. The One X tops the category of design as well. It has a curved figure, much like the Galaxy Nexus. Unlike the Nexus, however, the One X is a matte, polycarbonate unibody that comes in either black or white. The One X is a really light phone, but you don't even feel for a second that there is any sacrifice in build quality. One of my favorite features of this phone is the screen. It's the best I've ever seen. It's a 720p Super LCD 2, and at 4.7 inches, it has 312.47 pixels per inch, which means that you can't see any pixels with your naked eye, which is pretty much a standard nowadays. What makes this display so good, however, is mostly the viewing angles. You can tilt the phone until it's almost sideways, and still see the display like it's right in front of you. On a quick note on LTE, this is the first time I've really been able to get up close and personal with its blazing fast data speeds. I used it at Google I/O to tether my phone to my computer, and my internet was faster there than it is in my house. HTC is really pushing the camera chops on the One X. Like I said before, it has an 8 megapixel camera with an LED flash. It's not the actual images that interest me because the images aren't amazing. They fall somewhere between the quality of the Galaxy Nexus and the iPhone 4S. What interests me is the actual camera app. The coolest thing is that the camera and video buttons are on the same screen, so you don't have to flip a switch or toggle. This opens up some pretty interesting options, such as taking full-size pictures while recording video without stopping the video. You can also take burst shots and then choose which ones to keep after. The shutter speed is also really fast, just as fast as the Galaxy Nexus. There's also HDR and panoramic photos, as well as Instagram-like filters. Even though the One X runs Ice Cream Sandwich, the software on the One X is dominated by Sense 4.0. Starting on the lock screen, you can pull the ring up to unlock, or drag one of the apps, which are determined by the customizable spots in your dock, into the ring to unlock the phone straight into that app. Notifications also show up on the lock screen, and you can access them in a similar way. The dock is now customizable, just like the rest of the home screens. You can drag and drop apps into your dock. The app drawer is a little different than the Galaxy Nexus's. You have different tabs on the bottom, All, Frequent, and Downloads. You can also search for your apps. The multitasking menu is very different than stock Android as well. You scroll sideways instead of vertically, and to get rid of an app you swipe upwards instead of sideways. Also, the way HTC has dealt with the settings button is weird. Since the One X has hardware buttons, and none of them has a settings button, a bar has to be added at the bottom of the screen in order to support legacy apps that still need a settings button, which wastes screen real estate unnecessarily. Adding widgets is different as well. You press and hold on the lock screen and then choose or drag your widget onto the home screen instead of adding them from the app drawer. One of my biggest gripes with the One X is the combination of Sense and HTC's pre-installed apps. It's not that Sense is bad, it's just that it's worse than stock Android. Google did a lot of work making Android look better in Ice Cream Sandwich and beyond, and it just frustrates me that HTC could have made the One X better by not skinning it, but they didn't. Apps like the calendar, contacts, gallery, internet, and music apps all look worse than they do on stock Android. Battery life is okay on the One X. I was able to get a full day of life out of it, but one of the trade-offs of having a unibody design is having a non-removable battery. It's fine, but just beware of the dangers of overcharging. In conclusion, I believe that the One X is possibly the best phone hardware ever produced, but falls a little short on software, even though it's still Android. If you want the best Android phone in terms of software, I still suggest going for the Galaxy Nexus.